President Joe Biden, he apparently triggered a bit of a love fest, a bit of an agreement, maybe even some loosening of tensions between himself and the former president, Donald Trump. This comes after he gave some precedent to Trump's and his administration and scientists for breaking out the vaccine rollout, which then allowed President Biden to go ahead and fill in the rest and make the rollout happen and get some jabs in people's arms and make the next thing happen. So let's listen to what Joe Biden had to say at his press conference just on Monday, I believe, where he's talking about the next steps with COVID-19 response.
Omicron is serious, potentially deadly business for unvaccinated people. Let me be clear. Thanks to the prior administration and our scientific community, America is one of the first countries to get the vaccine. And just the other day, former President Trump announced he had gotten his booster shot. It may be one of the few things he and I agree on.
The second part of that, when talking about the booster shot, I want to address that in a second separately. So I don't want you to forget about that part. But first of all, it was just the whole point of first saying, hey, so the Trump administration did their part with the part of vaccine rollout. Now there was a lot of boisterous talk and speaking about what he's done for everyone in the world and shimmy shaking and all that as it was happening, which maybe kept some people from taking him very seriously or even thinking it was going very far, knowing Donald Trump's past of complete lying. So that was maybe the hurdle that was in the way, but maybe Joe Biden here knocked a few of those down. Trump specifically responded in an interview with Fox News with a couple more, like I guess lessened words for Joe Biden. He told Fox News, "I'm very appreciative of that. I was surprised to hear it. I think it was a terrific thing, and I think it makes a lot of people happy." Side note: whenever Donald Trump says it makes a lot of people happy, he's saying it made me happy. Continue on. Trump then repeated that he was, quote, a little bit surprised. And he said, I think he did something very good. You know, it has to be a process of healing in this country, and that will help a lot, David. Are we backing off the Civil War talk now?
Well, I think this is brilliant politics and strategy by Joe Biden, because if you look at everything that's going on in Trump world, there is every indication that Donald Trump is going to get indicted by the New York criminal grand jury, perhaps in the next couple of weeks, because of where that investigation is going. Donald Trump is headed towards a lot of pain, legal pain. And at the same time, so many Americans are facing pain because of COVID and Omicron. And there's this effort, of course, to try to get more people vaccinated, more people to get the boosters. It is so smart for Joe Biden to say, look, we should give credit to Donald Trump because of Operation Warp Speed and how quickly they were able to get FDA approval and rush the process to get the vaccines out. Because what that does is it reminds people maybe the vaccine, because it was approved under Donald Trump's watch, because Donald Trump got it out there, Donald Trump took the shot, Donald Trump has gotten the booster. Maybe there are at least some people out there who will say, okay, maybe the vaccine is not so bad. And I got to tell you, Jayar, I think it was just the other week when I went down to Florida to a Trump event, and I was talking to folks down there about the vaccine, and a lot of them said, well, it should be our choice. And I said, yeah, but Donald Trump got it approved. Donald Trump says you should take it. How could it be a problem? And they were stumped. They would say, well, I mean, that's Donald Trump. And I would say, but I thought you believed everything Donald Trump says. And a lot of folks would say, well, I do, but I still don't want to take the vaccine. It puts a lot of these folks who are hesitant to the vaccine in a bit of an awkward position. And given how Joe Biden's polling numbers are pretty low, I don't think there's anything wrong with Joe Biden now saying, okay, I'm going to be the nice guy to Donald Trump right now. Biden's not talking about January 6th. He's not talking about all the damage Donald Trump did. He can take this one narrow issue and say, yeah, Donald Trump deserves some credit for getting the vaccine out.
Yeah, and so in doing that, there's what I think people sometimes should also understand. There's nothing that politicians of this level and this kind of platform at a press conference when they know everyone is watching. There's nothing that's off the cuff. There's nothing that's unplanned. I mean, Trump did it at times, but there's nothing that he accidentally said that, and there wasn't a thought process behind why to say that. There's been disputes about who gets credit for the vaccine, and Republicans are mad about it. Or at the end of Donald Trump's term, when he was trying to use it as a re-election tool, and he felt the Democrats were trying to suppress it to make sure he didn't win. All that was happening. And then as soon as he lost, it flipped. And this is where some Republicans had some points, because Democrats and Democratic voters were completely against the vaccine rollout or the vaccine development or what was happening with it. Not that it would be coming, but just believing what was happening. And then when Biden came in office, there was a lot more trust for it. Now, I believe there's an explanation for that because no one that didn't support Donald Trump would believe anything he has to say. So if he says, hey, I have this vaccine rollout, and we're operating Operation Warp Speed, it's gonna happen in 2 days, trust me, promise. That's gonna make people go, whoa, Trump promises a lot of things to a lot of people and they end up being garbage. So I'm not sure if I want this garbage. But after you get some scientists talk about it and scientists reevaluate what's actually happening, what they've developed, not because of what Donald Trump was in the lab working on with his eyeglasses on and a microscope, it means that they did it and he was talking about it and it was the same process. So as you pointed out, the hard part then for many of his supporters is how they flipped. Now, there's a reason why many Democrats flipped. You wonder why many Republicans flipped, and kind of the answer is left that, well, Trump isn't there anymore, so I don't like this. It's a little bit tougher to go beyond. I want to go for one more part because I told you I want to talk about the booster part because Trump did, as we talked about at that event with Bill O'Reilly, point out that he also had the booster shot. So let's go to some of this from Fox News as well. He said it's a matter of getting people out to ideally to get the vaccine. If you have the mandate will destroy people's lives. This is where Trump is usually how he is. It destroys people's lives just as the vaccine saves people. He also added, I think it's really a question of tone. It's a question of trust. And hopefully the people that have had COVID, hopefully they will be given credit for that. This is where he completely went off the rails. He was already bouncing at the edge. And Trump predicted that those who have already been infected with COVID-19 are in quote, in pretty good shape of not getting it again or getting it in a much lighter way. They probably won't catch it, but if they do get it, it's not going to be nearly as severe, and there probably won't be hospitals involved. There's a lot of probablys, and it's not going to be nearly and possiblys, and I don't knows. And before I let you respond to that part of it, David, there was also when he was going through all of this, he got booed at that event, and now he's trying to figure out which way to find some footing because he nearly died. So he's definitely on the vaccine train. He's definitely on the booster train. He's an old man who doesn't want to die.
And credit to Bill O'Reilly for showing Donald Trump the path here by Bill O'Reilly saying, I got it too. And O'Reilly says he had to show Donald Trump some compassion when the Trump audience booed him. But that portion right there of Donald Trump saying, if you get the vaccine and get the booster, yes, you may still get COVID, but it's not going to be as severe. That is sort of the main point out there that I think has been lost on so many Republicans. You look up at Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham and all the rest, and they say, ha, look at these senators, triple vax, they still got COVID. Yeah, they got COVID, but they're not hospitalized, they're not sick. And to the extent that Donald Trump can help reinforce the point that this isn't about stopping you from getting COVID, it's about stopping you from getting the serious symptoms, stopping you from having to get hospitalized. And if you get the booster, you get the vaccine, the odds are you're not gonna get hospitalized. The people who will get hospitalized and might die are the people who haven't gotten vaccinated or the booster. If Donald Trump is helping Joe Biden to make that point, it's great. And as we put on the screen, I mean, Biden's giving credit for vaccine development. He's not giving Donald Trump credit for the distribution. Lord knows that had it not been for the Biden administration and the sophisticated approach they took to getting this distributed, we wouldn't have had the vaccines actually available to all of us, even with the development. But Joe Biden doesn't need to make that argument right now. It's about trying to convince people, hey, Donald Trump was right to get the vaccine out there. The vaccine is safe, even for all those people who say it wasn't tested enough. It was tested enough for Donald Trump. And by the way, it can help you. And to the extent Donald Trump is now, because he's happy that Joe Biden is saying something nice about him, great, that's fine. It's smart politics. It's great strategy. It's good for the country.
Before we go to some of y'all's thoughts in this next break, my last thought, because I've been saying this since 2015, since that guy meandered down the escalator and started talking about Mexicans being dirty people. As soon as he started his entire campaign with that, this guy has been on the self-promotion of doing all of this himself. And so as he does this, you have to use that against him. This was one of those things that was set across the board with international leaders. They said the playbook on Donald Trump is make him happy, shower him with praise, tell him how great he is, give him credit, even if he doesn't necessarily deserve it all, and he will give you whatever you want. He will call you his best friend like he did Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, and then he'll give you what you want. And maybe that's what Joe Biden is now beginning to do. He's like, I'll give him a bit of credit for this, and then he'll fold. Maybe he's in the middle of folding.
Yeah, I mean, flattery gets you everywhere with Donald Trump. And I think it also underscores that for all those Republicans, conservatives who say, oh, Sleepy Joe, he's asleep at the switch. No, you have to be awake. You have to be pretty shrewd and with it politically, strategically, in terms of your own mind to realize, okay, maybe this is the time to play the flatter Donald Trump card because we've got something out there we need and Donald Trump can help us. And oh, by the way, I mean, Donald Trump is going to be shooting himself in the foot in a couple of weeks anyway when he gets indicted. So there's no harm for Joe Biden to say some nice things about Donald Trump because Democrats aren't going to really care.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.